Greetings from Fast Track. Today I'd like to try and add some positivity, if that's possible, to the coronavirus situation. I know a lot of people are very anxious, very concerned, afraid to go outside, being ordered to stay inside, wearing masks. And the fact is, as humans, the thing that causes us the greatest amount of stress are situations we can't control. And what's less controllable than a little tiny microbe, something you can't even see? How can you possibly fight that? Well, there are different ways you can fight it with your immune system being improved and things like that, but I'm not going to go into that. I'm also not going to discuss conspiracies or anything like that. What I want to do is take the facts, the numbers that you've been seeing, been hearing on the news, and I want to display them in a different perspective to give you a different kind of look on this and show you that things are going to get better and they're not probably near as bad as you might think. So I do have notes because I won't remember all these numbers and I want to make sure I get them right. And I'm going to lead with probably, to me, the most exciting statistic. And then I'm going to finish at the end by showing us exact numbers for our area, Temecula, Murrieta, and show you why we are really in pretty good shape. So let's start more globally, or more in the United States, and talk about the fact that we've now tested 4.6 million people. Now, I've got this data from 2020, so my data is a little bit old by a few days, so there's going to be some different numbers as you go, but as of 4/26, 4.6 million people tested. Now, of those that they tested, 859,318 tested positive. That's a lot. That's 18.7% of those tested were positive. Now, if we take the United States, which is roughly 331 million people, and we take 18.7% of that number, what it gives us is a population of roughly 61 million people. Now, if we look at the number of deaths in the United States, it's pretty close to 61,000. Now, what that equates to is roughly a fatality rate of 0.99%, or basically 0.1%. Now, originally when this thing came out, they were talking about a 4% fatality rate. That would equate to literally millions of people dying in the United States. That is a serious situation that we need to be aggressively treating. But now that things have been moving on and we've done a lot of testing, 4.6 million people is an enormous sample size. That's a reliable sample size. And we've now shown that with that sample size, we're looking at 0.1%. And this is what Stanford's been saying all along. Los Angeles County Public Health recently published a study showing, hey, these numbers are more along the lines of 0.1% for fatality rate. Now, that is the exact same number as the flu. So each year we get the flu, but we don't panic. It's 0.1%. It's a very small percent of the population. So what I would tell you is, this is turning out to have statistics of the flu. You don't worry about the flu, maybe you shouldn't worry about dying from the coronavirus. The odds are very, very low. So that's what they're showing with that testing. Now, to give you some other statistics, if we look worldwide, what you're looking at with cases that they keep throwing at us is huge numbers. And these numbers, the bigger the number, the more people are scared. But the fact is, with cases, you have to take into account perspective. Like, say, worldwide, there's been over 3 million cases of the coronavirus. There's 8 billion or close to 8 billion people on the planet. That is not that big a number in percentage or as a ratio of the overall population. The United States has had 1 million cases. California alone has had 46,000 cases. Again, these seem like big numbers, but consider this. Guess what? The flu, there's 1 billion cases a year, 1 billion. 3 million cases worldwide is not even close to 1 billion. And again, the flu kills 0.1% or something similar. Tons more deaths with the flu. United States, 9.3 to 45 million people get the flu. So again, the numbers we're looking at are looking a little more positive now. Then, if we move to my next point, if we look at overall statistics, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one, but the overall statistics are very skewed worldwide. We've got roughly 61,000 deaths in the United States. We've got worldwide 228,000 deaths. And in California, you've got roughly 1,887 or just under 1,900 deaths. When you look at this and you think, well, okay, if the United States has 61,000 deaths, but overall worldwide there's only 228,000, well, how's that possible considering the United States is only 331 million people out of, again, close to 8 billion. We represent 4.25% of the overall world's population. We're a country that's healthier in general. We have good food and water supply. We've got countries like India, Indonesia, they're grossly overpopulated. China, sanitation's a problem. How is it possible that we have over, 26.9% of the cases of coronavirus death are here in the US? Those numbers don't add up. What I'd tell you is I'm not going to go into conspiracies or anything like that. I would just tell you that there's obviously some faulty reporting. I think that we're probably over-reporting. I've heard from doctors that they're being instructed, if there's any relation to the coronavirus death, that is the cause of death, irregardless. And I think you're seeing probably under-reporting in some of the other countries. So that's all I'll say about that. Then again, just real quickly to give you again some perspective on mortality rates, keep in mind 2.8 million people die every single year in just the United States alone. That's 7,700 deaths per day are dying in the United States. And if we break those numbers down, you may be familiar with the heart disease statistic because they were using it to say that the coronavirus had outpaced heart disease as the #1 killer for a couple days, not for permanence. So heart disease kills 647,000 people every single year. That's roughly 1,800 people every single day, day after day, year after year. The coronavirus at its peak barely got up to 1,800, and now it's going back down the other side. Again, looking at overall death rates, 647 compared to maybe the coronavirus ramps up to 80,000, not even close. And the statistics go down from there. There's all kinds of other disorders that cause a lot of deaths. The coronavirus fits in there. It's a serious concern, but it's not the serious concern that you may have thought. Keep in mind the flu in the United States alone kills 55,000 people. So the coronavirus has just barely outpaced the flu to date. Then let's talk about underlying health problems. So statistics from the CDC show that 78% of people in the ICU with the coronavirus have at least one or more underlying disease process. Now that's, if you have an underlying disease process, that certainly puts you at high risk, but if you don't have an underlying disease process, 78%, that puts you in an extremely high, extremely good position to not have any worries whatsoever. Again, it's well established that most people with the coronavirus have mild to moderate symptoms at the most. And obviously from that statistic I showed you very first, that showed that of that 4.6 million that have tested positive, that 800,000 people that had it, they probably didn't even know they had it. That's how insignificant it is for most people. Now, if you do have an underlying disease process, I look at this as a good motivator for you in the future, especially diabetics. With the coronavirus, it's showing that 32% of the people in ICU with the coronavirus have diabetes. Considering 95% of diabetics are type 2, that's an acquired disorder, you can reverse that significantly. So this is a good opportunity to use this as a motivating time to take control. Again, stress is worse when you can't control something. This is something you can control. Even your heart disease, which is an underlying cause that's pretty high on the list. It's 29% of the patients in the ICU have cardiovascular disorders. Let's work on improving your health so you don't belong in these categories and you don't have to worry either. So there's ways that you can take charge and take control and get out of these situations. And then last, I teased you with, I tell you, our particular numbers in the Temecula Valley. Very low, very good. So in Temecula, 0 deaths from the coronavirus. Murrieta, 4 deaths. Lake Elsinore, 3 deaths. Menifee, 3 deaths. Wildomar, 2 deaths. So that's 12 people in an approximate population of 300,000 people. And again, keep in mind, most of these people have pre-existing conditions. The Wall Street Journal has reported that fully 25% of corona death fatalities are from nursing homes, 25%. So if you're not in a nursing home, again, this puts you in a fantastic spot. Very low risk. 12 people have died in 300,000 in our valley. The odds of this happening to you are very, very low. So these are the positives. Again, not here to talk about conspiracies or anything, but just to help maybe make you feel better, empower you, allow you to take control and feel more confident, and not be so worried and anxious. I really hope this helps you out. Thanks.